Welcome to Matters Financial and Geopolitical from a Frontier. Thank you for stopping by. Let's have a look at currency markets. Euro dollar is at 112.31. Dollar index 97.22. Japanese yen, which has been on a huge roll of late, 108.21. Swiss franc 0.9944. The pound is at 126.89, the Australian dollar 0.6977. I think that's going to come off hard. India rupee 69.1995, South Korean won 1180.36, the Rial 388, and that's rebounded strongly, hasn't it? Egyptian pound 16.77, and the rand in deep trouble, and we'll come to the reasons why, 1488. Dollar index, we're now at 97.22. I think we're going to resume our up trade. I think essentially US interest rates have rallied into nosebleed territory and are going to back up and strengthen the dollar. Euro dollar 112.31, and I think that too, the rebound is now petering out. You remember I wrote an article before the Uber listing called The Platform Economy. In that article I said, in a brilliantly counterintuitive move, Uber even said they might never make a profit ever. And I said Uber is a conviction buy, and it got cheaper. In fact, I was saying buy at the IPO, but it subsequently got cheaper, and I put out the buy recommendation aggressively when it fell below 40. And we've just crossed $45 for the first time, up 25% from its low, and I think we got much more to go. My target is 60 in the nearish term. Commodity markets, gold 1336.75. We've really moved very sharply higher, 1275. These sorts of levels happened in a blink of an eye, all to do with tariff war intensity and a stock market weakness. Look at this chart of the day. US total oil inventories, that's crude and products, surged last week by 22.4 million barrels, the largest weekly increase in data going back almost 30 years. WTI crude oil, $51.97. This is a chart from JS Blockland, down 22% and in a bear market from its April high. Asia Times, Pepe Escobar, why Trump now wants talks with Iran. If Tehran blocks the Straits of Hormuz, it could send the price of oil soaring and cause a global recession. The derivatives clock is ticking. It has to do with the Strait of Hormuz. Blocking the strait could cut off oil and gas from Iraq, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, and Iran, 20% of the world's oil. There has been some debate on whether this could occur and whether the US Fifth Fleet could stop Tehran doing this. An American source said a series of studies hit President Trump's desk and caused panic in Washington. These showed that in the case of the Strait of Hormuz being shut down, whatever the reason, Iran has the power to hammer the financial system by causing global trade and derivatives to be blown apart. And essentially that's a valid point. And I wrote that piece on the 13th of May, and I said no number of Trump tweets will dampen the price. The Iranians will surely manage to shutter the Straits of Hormuz, even if after an asymmetric fashion. Brent crude plunged below $60 a barrel for the first time since January. This is an interesting chart from Holger, giving you both Brent and WTI. The Pentagon has held talks with African rare earth suppliers in an attempt to diversify away from China. Burundi has some, and there were rumors that Kenya had some at Marima Hill. Good news for coffee drinkers. The price of Arabica beans just crashed, the most in almost 9 years. Coffee futures plunged the most in almost 9 years. Market had gathered steam. Look at the chart. You'll see we turned around, we based out. So we're giving back not all of that run up, but some of it. July futures fell as much as 7.3%. A 6.2% decline at the close was the steepest since March 2015. Price had gained about 19% since May 17, highest level since early February. So we gave back some of the gains. We need to keep an eye on that. Emerging markets, India's Reserve Bank of India cuts full year 2020 GDP to 7% from 7.2%. The Reserve Bank cut its key rate by 25 basis points to 5.75%, lowest since July 2010. Venezuela defaulted on a gold swap with Deutsche Bank, valued at $750 million with Deutsche Bank AG, prompting the lender to take control of the precious metal used as collateral and close out the contract, according to two people with direct knowledge of the matter. It's the second time this year the Maduro regime has failed to make good on financing agreements, which have resulted in losses at a time when reserves are at a record low. Central bank missed a deadline to buy back gold from Citigroup in March for nearly $1.1 billion. And they've only got $7.9 billion left in reserves. Mexico's rating was downgraded by Fitch to BBB, warning that ballooning debt from state-owned oil company Pemex represents a growing risk. Sun Charters tweeted, "If I were China's Politburo, if Trump treats his allies like Mexico like this," valid point.